Hey Top Centers, how's it going? Today we got another viewer request. Today's request comes from Joe Bernard. Hope you don't mind me actually using your name on here, but it's come from Google+. And he's asked me to take a look at Druddigon. Now, I can see exactly where Joe's come from when he's actually told us to look at Druddigon. It is a double colourless revenge. It's basically... remember that thing that Terrakion did really well? Well, Druddigon's saying I do that for double colourless. And yeah, I would normally say that that's a really good thing, that's really amazing. Except for when you really have to look at Terrakion's biggest strengths. You see, with Terrakion, his revenge was fighting colourless, which meant that he would do 90 for fighting colourless when something was knocked out. That would normally seem to be inferior to a double colourless attack. But Terrakion was also known for being there for its retaliate, which was 2 fighting and a colourless. So sure, yeah, you had to set up for revenge. It wasn't a 1-card attachment, here's 90 damage. But by setting up for revenge, you also set up for retaliate next turn. One thing that I used to commonly say about Terrakion was he has 2 attacks. He'll either do 90 or he'll do 90. It was very rare you saw a Terrakion up in the active position and somebody would go revenge for 30. It would always be a case of something's knocked out, here's my Terrakion, revenge for 90, next turn, attach a fighting energy, retaliate 90. Druddigon, on the other hand, it's doing it for double colourless, which means that most likely you're going to run double colourless to use revenge. And yeah, if you want just revenge, then there you go, you're fine for it. But Terrakion was good because it could do more than just revenge. It would come in, use revenge, and then start retaliating. Druddigon doesn't have that same synergy. It does have the whole double colourless cost, which means it can revenge faster. But it doesn't have that synergy with its secondary attack. Its secondary attack is Dragon Claw. It's 80 damage for fire, water, double colourless. So sure, if you get the double colourless, you play it on Druddigon and you've already spent a turn setting up so it's got a water or a fire, then sure, you're kind of on the way to having what Terrakion did. But then again, Terrakion did 90 retaliate. Dragon Claw does 80, meaning that double that, you swing for weakness, you're doing 160. So Rayquaza would survive, Black Karen X survives, and really, you're not doing the job that Terrakion provided. Terrakion really hit its peak back when Darkrai was a very big thing. I'm surprised to see that with the rise of Darkrai Garbodor, we've not seen a resurgence of Terrakion's popularity. I'm guessing that big basic variants just aren't seen as being as good as they used to be. Terrakion became most popular back when Darkrai had multiple variants running around the format. You had both Speed Darkrai and Darkrai High Dragon, both having their own advantages over each other and both basically taking up 2 of the top 4 metagame slots. Each and every single metagame will only have 3 or 4 big decks. At one point, Darkrai was technically taking up 1.5 or maybe even 2 of those slots, so Terrakion had a huge place as a counter. It basically turned around and said, I counter a good percentage of the format. Plus, I can actually do something against the rest. Druddigon, on the other hand, is looking at Keldeo Blastoise. It's saying, oh, is that Black Kyurem X? I can't wait to revenge kill that. And yeah, you get you use revenge. You're gonna take that quick 2 prizes. You don't have the same fallback. You can't go straight from revenge into Dragon Claw like you could with Terrakion going from revenge into retaliate. Terrakion went from let's one-shot Darkrai into let's one-shot Darkrai, whereas Druddigon will go from let's one-shot Black Kyurem X to let's do a lot of damage to him. Overall, your numbers aren't really working in your favour with him. That being said, I don't want to say that Druddigon's a bad card. In fact, I really do actually like the fact that we do have this Revenger in format that turns around and says, here's double Colress, I do my thing. It is a really good thing to have. It's just the whole fact that really when you look at Druddigon you have to compare it to Terrakion. The initial post saying I should look at this card even referenced Terrakion. So it's hard to actually turn around and say, well, Druddigon's a new Terrakion when Terrakion really did pull double duty. He wasn't there for one attack, he was there for both his attacks, which both said do 90. Whereas Druddigon does 90 and then he effectively stops for a bit. He comes in fast and furious and then slows right the way down again until he can come back in and be fast and furious. He's very good at coming in, giving a quick jab and then having to step back and let someone else do all the heavy lifting. Whereas once again, Terrakion would come in, he would have that quick jab, and then he'd pick up the game and start carrying it himself. He did some heavy lifting for him in his own right. Druddigon, on the other hand, doesn't quite have the heavy lifting down. He's good at that quick jab, and that's really about it. But with all that said, what do you guys think about Druddigon? Am I actually seeing it wrong? Is Dragon Claw actually a good fallback attack? If you think so, or if you'd like to leave your own opinion, there's a comment section down below. I'd love to see you guys in there. If any of you guys would actually like to make requests for your own videos, if you've seen a card that you think is underappreciated or actually is just... it's maybe been missed by some of your other favourite reviewers, then let me know. I'll see what I can do with it. And until next time, I've been Writer Joey. You guys are the top percent. Peace out.